Do you want to learn how to cook chicken breast in the Instapot? Then this video is for you. So stay tuned right to the end because I'm going to show you guys exactly how to cook chicken breast in the Instapot. So if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Lindsay and I am Fit and Fabulous and I make videos like this every single Thursday. I make videos on weight loss, I make videos on cool, delicious recipes. I do like all sort of like reviews, like really fun stuff. So if you guys are new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification so you guys never miss a video like this in the future. As well as you guys really like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up so then I do know that you guys like this type of video. So let's get started. First off, I just want to show you guys exactly which Instapot I am going to be using. So this is a little bit of an older model. So this is the Instapot and I believe it is a 6-quart Instapot. I basically only really use one button on this, and if you guys can see, I pretty much just use like the manual button, which is right there. So the inside of this Instapot is basically just like a metal container. Sorry, it's really loud. A metal container, which is the inside part of it. And then you get like this little rack that basically just kind of like sits in there. So the inside of this metal pot, you can actually see that there's like measurements here. You can see there's actually like a max line. I've heard that you can make like chili and you can make roast and like all kinds of other stuff, but I really just kind of like stuck to the chicken breast and the sweet potatoes. So that's why I want to make this video for you guys, to really show you how quick and easy it is to make, because I tend to eat like a lot of chicken, and whenever I cook it in the oven, it seems like it takes so freaking long. Literally, whenever I cook chicken in the oven, it probably takes like 40-45 minutes, sometimes a little bit dried out, and it doesn't taste that good, and you know, but every time like I cook it in the Instapot, it always turns out like pretty much perfect every time, and it takes like half as much time. So the Instapot is basically like a pressure cooker. So I know my parents, they're a little bit older, they're in like their 70s, so they tend to use a pressure cooker all the time, and of course I never used it, but it was like old school and I was kind of a little bit afraid of it. I was always afraid that it would like explode or something. But this Instapot, like the pressure cooker, I'm feeling really safe with it. Basically what happens is, of course, like you have to put a little bit of water in the bottom, you put whatever food you want in there. This it pressurizes and it basically is gonna like cook your food and keeps all the juices and all like the goodness basically like inside of your food. So this is the lid, this is what goes on the top. And if you guys see this little dial thing, so it only goes from one side to the other. So one side says venting, and one says sealing. It's weird that it says sealing. S-E-A-L-I-N-G, sealing. So basically the sealing is like what you want to put on when you want to have pressure in there. And venting is obviously if you just want to like let the pressure off. So that's just kind of like the gist of the Instapot. So what we're gonna do first is we're actually gonna put some water in the bottom. You always want to have some sort of liquid in the bottom. Now we are cooking chicken, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of water. So you need anywhere from like a half a cup to a cup. So I usually put about a cup of cold water in there. Now some people do like to use like chicken stock, but the chicken stock doesn't actually even really touch the chicken, so it doesn't like increase the flavor or anything like that. So basically you can just use water and it's fine. So I'm gonna go grab a cup of water right now. Okay, so I do have a cup of water here. So basically you just put that into the bottom of the Instapot. So just 1 cup of plain water. You see the rack here, if you can see that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay the chicken on the rack. So I have my chicken breast here that I just bought. I'm just gonna basically prepare the chicken. What I like to do to basically prepare the chicken is, first I'm gonna open up the container, and I always like to trim off any of the fat or this little area that always seems to be really tough whenever you're eating chicken breast. So I always use my kitchen scissors and I just trim everything. So yeah, I just trim like basically the majority of the fat and that little hard piece right there off. Now that we have our chicken trimmed, we need to put it into the Instapot. What you want to do is kind of lay them flat. And so I do have 5 chicken breasts, so I'm basically just gonna put the other 2 on top like this. Or maybe I'll just jam that one in there. You definitely want a little bit of space between them, so they cook a little bit better. So we do have all of our chicken breasts in there. So now what we want to do is we actually want to put some seasoning on them. I always like to put, this is actually like the salt-free garlic and herb. Sometimes I put Greek on there. You can pretty much put on like whatever you want. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this like Greek and herb on there. As well as I literally just found this at the grocery store. This is Frank's Red Hot seasoning. I really want to try it. So I'm actually gonna try it right now for the first time to see if I like it. I'm gonna try it on my chicken because I love Frank's Red Hot pretty much everything. I'm gonna put this on the rest of the chicken. So I always put my seasonings on after the chicken is in the Instapot, but I'm sure if you want to put the seasoning on before the chicken goes in the Instapot, some people actually like coat them in a little bit of olive oil as well and then put the seasoning on and then put them in the Instapot, but it's all completely up to you. I just like to like put them in like this. I put the seasoning on because it turns out perfect for me. So now we actually have to plug in the Instapot. So we got the chicken in there. We got the seasoning, we gotta plug it in. It's gonna say off right now because it's off. So we gotta put the lid on. This is the lid. So basically, this part goes to the back. You wanna turn it to the right. So it actually says right here, so there's arrows to close and this arrow is to open. So we're turning it to the right to make sure that it's closed. And then of course this little tab thing here at the back, it doesn't really seem like it does too much. It's kind of like flimsy, but actually it does work. So we want to make sure that this goes to sealing. So we're basically pushing it all the way back. And then if we look at the front of the Instapot, we are gonna put this on manual. So manual is right here. We're gonna put this on manual and we wanna cook the chicken for 10 minutes. So I always double check to make sure that the lid is on because it does still kind of like freak me out a little bit. So we're gonna make sure the lid's on, make sure that's on sealing. So manual, it's on 10 minutes. So it says on now. And so basically what's happening is it's actually gonna start building pressure within the Instapot. So it's gonna start building pressure. And then once there's enough pressure in there, then it's actually gonna start the timer. So it's gonna start with 10 minutes, 9, 8, whatever, and then all the way down to 1. And then when it's done, it'll start to beep. So it does take a few minutes for the Instapot to actually get up to pressure. So I would say it probably takes around like 8 to 10 minutes for it to actually get up to pressure before it'll actually start the countdown to actually start cooking the chicken. In the meantime, I mean, when you initially start it, it's gonna be silent and you're gonna be like, is it even working or not? But it does take a couple minutes and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it is starting to make a little bit of noise and there's a little bit of steam coming out the back. There's this little pressure, little kind of button thing. It's not really a button because we don't actually even touch the button, but basically it's open right now, so it's letting out a little bit of the pressure. Pretty much what happens is once there's enough pressure in the Instapot, it is gonna close that and then it's gonna basically completely pressurize the whole Instapot. So if you do see a little bit of steam initially when you do start the Instapot, while it's still in this on mode and while it's still kind of pressurizing, that's completely normal. So again, once it's basically like fully pressurized, so this little button thing basically is just gonna kind of like pop up and that just seals everything in there. And if you just seen that, so it just popped up there. So now the whole thing is pressurized. And so it's gonna start that timer pretty much any time here. Okay, so our timer just went off on the Instapot. Basically, it's gonna start another timer. So this is almost like a backwards timer. So after like the initial timer's gone off, this will actually tell you how many minutes it's gone past since like the initial timer. But what we wanna do in the chicken breast case is basically we wanna set it to venting. So we want to basically get rid of all the steam like as soon as possible. So I'm gonna take an oven mitt here. And what I'm gonna do is, if you guys see like the back here, so where it was saying sealing, so we're just gonna move this to venting. Just gonna let out all of the steam. Now, in this case, I mean, there is a lot of steam coming out and it's pretty much all coming out underneath my cupboard. So it is better to have it in an open space, but with my countertops, I don't really have a space that doesn't have any like counters or doesn't have any cupboards above, so it is what it is. And if you guys see here at the back, so it's letting out the steam. And so, like I said, this little button thing is still pushed up. So once all the steam is out of the Instapot, this little button is just gonna fall back down. And so it's almost done. And there went that little button thing down. So now that means it's safe to actually open up the Instapot. So we're gonna open it up, just basically go by this, so it says close, so we wanna turn it this way. I always like to use an oven mitt because I burned myself with steam before and it's really hot and it hurts so bad. So I always open it away from myself, and this is what it looks like. So it definitely looks smaller because it's cooked. I'm gonna take a piece out, so I'll take the piece out on the top, take it out, put it on a plate, and show you guys what it looks like. And it's perfect. So it's one of the pieces that was on the bottom. Again, perfect. So that's how easy it is to make. So I'm gonna show you guys quickly how I mix up a quick chicken salad. Whenever I make chicken salad, I always use some sort of like Tupperware container or like Ziploc container because it's so much easier to mix up the salad. So I have a salad here. This was 50% off that I just got yesterday, so I have to use it, and it's a massive salad. This is like the kale, sweet kale salad, which I love. So I always like to pour some salad into my container. I love this salad, by the way. So pour some salad in there. Got a bunch of chicken in there. Put the toppings on. We got a few pumpkin seeds and a few cranberries, so I just like to put a little bit on there. And the dressing, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this dressing. I just don't really think I'm a huge fan of like any sort of salad dressing. This is poppy seed, so I just put a little bit on. It's really not much at all. Then I put the lid on. And this is so easy to take with you. And that's it, like that. A perfect chicken salad. So if you guys do decide to try the Instapot, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions at all about this video. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys definitely got some value out of this video. And I really do hope that you guys do try the Instapot because it's so easy for chicken breast. So easy. It's like, I swear it's like changed my life. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing day and I will talk to you later. Love you.